Arsenal have done it yet again. They have pinned down another one of their stars to a long-term contract with Max Dowman, the latest player who has signed a scholarship deal at Arsenal, which was all sealed yesterday within the club. And Julian Alvarez is the latest player to be heavily linked to a move to Arsenal, with some saying he is the perfect signing for Arsenal. There's a massive weekend of fixtures coming your way. Sunday, you will see Everton host Spurs. The two big games weekend, Brentford against Liverpool, and Arsenal will be hosting Crystal Palace, the same Crystal Palace side that lost 1-0 last night at home in the Conference League, with key players like Muniz and Mateta both playing full 90 minutes. Excuse the hair, it's absolutely all over the gaff. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts. Make sure you go down and hit that subscribe button. The road to 100K is well and truly on. 92% of you who watch the content every day haven't subscribed, so smash that subscribe button. Now, Romano come out last night with this news, and the one person that deserves huge credit is Andrea Berta. Andrea Berta has literally transformed Arsenal in 6 months. Some of the signings he's made, from Noni Madueke, Zubimendi, Eberechi Eze, Victor Gyökeres, pinned down Gabriel and Saliba, Luis Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, all to new contracts. And now the latest person to sign a long-term deal is Max Dowman. And Max Dowman has signed a scholarship deal at Arsenal, all sealed within the club today. 15-year-old, also ready to sign pro contract at the club starting from 2027, which will be when he's, 18 years of age, because I think he's nearly 16. Seen as a key part of the AFC long-term project from the board and Arteta. And there is Max Dowman signing his contract. Now, like, they are starting to really frustrate me, because they're doing all of the right things. They're acting like an elite football club. You know, I'm looking at them right now, and what I mean by that is football clubs get a lot of praise for what they do on the field in terms of their patterns of play, results, performances, where they are in the cup, where they are in the league. But Andrea Berta deserves huge praise, because not only do they have an unbelievable transfer window, you know, improving the depth with likes of Nkapie, centre-back depth, you know, bringing in Norgard, bringing in Gyökeres, Madueke, Eberechi Eze, Zubimendi. They went up levels in terms of their overall squad depth and the quality in their squad, and the quality in the depth. But what Andrea Berta has done has pinned all of these players. You know, like I said, Nwaneri, Saka will be next. Max Dowman now, Luis Skelly, Gabriel Saliba. He's pinned all of them down to long-term deals, which from a financial perspective makes it even trickier for the likes of Real Madrid when they've been linked to, you know, an Arsenal to for Saliba, for instance. It makes it very difficult for a lot of these teams to go out and if they wanted to purchase one of Arsenal stars, because they're pinned down to such long contracts. So you have to give huge praise to Andrea Berta. You have to give huge praise to Mikel Arteta, because he's got Arsenal fans believing again. He's got Arsenal 3 goals conceded in 12 games, top of the Premier League in the next round of the League Cup at home to Brighton. He's got them 3rd in the Champions League. And this weekend, again, is another massive weekend in the Premier League. You know, Liverpool have got a tough trip to Brentford at the GTIC Saturday night, which means Arsenal will already know the Liverpool result by the time they play their game. Now, I don't think that is an easy fixture by any stretch of the imagination. Hang on. Am I seeing this right? Are Liverpool and Bournemouth both 3rd? Yeah, well, they're both joint 3rd, apparently. But Liverpool's game is going to be very tough for them this weekend. You know, when you look at the Brentford home form this season, they've only lost to Manchester City. There we go. There's the league table. You know, and Man City have got a tough game at Villa, or playing Villa, sorry, which, you know, Villa played last night. They lost 2-1 to go ahead Eagles. So I do expect Arsenal and Manchester City to both, you know, win their games comfortably. The fact that they've had two days extra rest over the likes of, you know, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. Liverpool's perspective, they played Wednesday night, away trip out to Germany. They will then be playing Brentford this weekend, which is a really, really tough game. And I'm looking at their recent results. They have to get back to winning ways. We'll come back to Liverpool in a second. Julian Alvarez. Now, this is a player that is being heavily linked to Arsenal. Now, Sport come out yesterday and said Julian Alvarez has begun questioning the project at Atletico Madrid. He thinks that he cannot win titles with the club and it would be better to leave in search of trophies. The big defeat against Arsenal has compounded this feeling. Barcelona are continuing to monitor the situation. Now, we know Barcelona have wanted Julian Alvarez for a long, long time, as well as Nico Williams. You look at their striker department, Robert Lewandowski is in his late 30s now. But could we see him in an Arsenal shirt? Now, that would be a very, very interesting situation. I think Julian Alvarez is one of the best players in La Liga this season. He has been very, very good. His record for Atletico Madrid, 2 games in the Champions League, 1 goal, 2 assists. That strike that he had against David Raya was really, really good. He's got 6 goals and 1 assist in 9 La Liga appearances. I genuinely think he's a very, very, very good player. His record at Atletico Madrid is very strong. He's playing more as an out-and-out number 10/number 9. They've got Solarov. But he is now being linked to a move to Arsenal. There's his goal record, 187 goal contributions in 293 games. Already equaled the same amount of goals he got for Manchester City at Atletico Madrid in, 37 less games or 36 less games, whatever the maths is. Could he be an Arsenal player? The only question I would have is, where would he play? A lot of people are saying Julian Alvarez in this Arsenal team would break records. But the question below it is, would you take him at Arsenal next season is what a lot of people are saying. This guy is an absolute player. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, but he is predominantly a number 10 or a number 9. Now, I don't necessarily think it's realistic at this moment in time unless a couple of players were to leave, because I look at the 10, Arsenal have got Odegaard, they've got Eberechi Eze, they've got Wanyeri, they've got Dowman. On the left-hand side, I still think is one area they do need to strengthen long-term, but I keep seeing Martinelli prove me wrong. Leandro Trossard has been very, very good this season. Could he potentially, join, the likes of, could he potentially join the likes of these players that are very versatile? I don't necessarily at this moment think it is realistic, but Arsenal have this habit of keeping their cards close to their chest, and then out of nowhere, it happens. Lots of accounts out there are saying that, Andrea Berta is a big, big fan of his. Lots of people are saying that, even Grok has said, this account here says 2SA only. Andrea Berta wants to bring Julian Alvarez to the carpet. Julian Alvarez believes Arsenal are the best team in the world right now and would widely open to discussions with the club. Berta doesn't have a transfer list for the summer due to the highest squad depth ongoing. But then someone's added Twitter's AI, and he says, based on recent reports, Julian Alvarez is reportedly frustrated at Atletico Madrid after recent defeats and seeks a club for trophies. Interest in Barcelona and Liverpool is mentioned, but no confirmed talks of Arsenal or him specifically naming them as his top choice. This seems unverified rumor for now. I mean, of course, a lot of this stuff is rumors, but imagine Julian Alvarez in an Arsenal shirt. That would be one hell of a signing for Arsenal. And I'm looking at their next 5 games is where a lot of people believe that they will, run away with it. I personally believe they get maximum points out of their next 5. But there's still a lot of Arsenal fans that are in the camp of, take each game as it comes. And I understand that. But surely Burnley, Slavia Prague, and Sunderland should be, 3 wins as a bare minimum. Palace have just played on Thursday, and Brighton, I believe they win in the League Cup, which would make it, that would make it 6 wins on the bounce at the moment in time. If they go and beat Palace, Brighton, Burnley, Slavia Prague, and Sunderland, which they should, that would be 11 wins on the bounce going into the North London derby after the international break, which, as it stands for us right now, is going to be a really, really tough game because our away record is one of the best in the Premier League right now. We're unbeaten in Europe away from home against Bodo and against Monaco. We've played West Ham away. We played Brighton away. We've played Manchester City away. We've got a really tough game against Everton away this weekend. But that's a different kettle of fish playing Arsenal. But right now, Julian Alvarez is being linked. They are only rumours, and they have pinned down. They've just pinned down Max Dowman to a long-term deal. So right now, Arsenal are doing all the right things for me. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.